Yeah, so I think the biggest opportunities, it depends. If I put myself in the shoes of a chief data officer, for example, and said CDO is tasked with um, defining a new data strategy today, the first consideration, let's take two examples. The first would be a retailer or a brand that has yet to uh, deliberately or in earnest invest heavily in a big data transformation at this point. And the other example I'll talk to is one that maybe has, because it is different
Yeah.
and it's unique at the moment. Because I would argue that a CDO or an organization that has yet to sink significant investment into big data transformation might just be in a more advantageous position,
Okay.
certainly commercially speaking,
Yeah. Yeah.
or economically speaking, rather, than one that already has. Because the one that already has got arguably 10 years of fatigue or more, right? Big data has been a subject for well over a decade. So, and what we're finding is certainly with a lot of large retailers and large brands is it's not necessarily produced the value. Perhaps they've not measured the value very, very well, but it's not necessarily produced the value and the confidence in the value of data and AI because they've sunk X million, billion, some of them, right? And the results maybe aren't as clear or haven't had the desired outcome of putting data at the heart of the organization. I'd argue there's a lot more of those than ones who've successfully done it, actually.
Right. Okay.
So to then arrive and speak to a CDO of an organization, you're arriving in a different way. You're almost arriving in with a lot more humility and to say, we know that you've tried to transform and it's broadly worked, right? Has it provided you competitive advantage over the last 10 years, right? Has your market share dramatically increased? And you can non-tenuously connect that to the investments that you've made in data. And the biggest investment they'll ever make in data is human capital.
Yeah.
Beyond
Yeah.
any platform, beyond any technology. So, and the reason I say that an organization that may have been considered a laggard for not investing in big data over the last 10, 20 years, if they now have the appetite for change, which they should have, because you know it is change or die. But
Yeah.
what's interesting is they don't have the fatigue. They might have fatigue from their legacy platforms and legacy processes and not having enough data talent in their eyes. But the advantage they've got is that if I'm a CDO writing a brand new data strategy today, the human capital element, i.e. the most expensive part of the data strategy, certainly the plan, doesn't need to require the same expensive data talent, in my opinion. I don't think I'm alone in this opinion, right?
Yeah.
Because I think industry and vertical and organization specific skills are now becoming more valuable for a data professional to have than data skills specifically. And I'm laboring the point a bit, but like I can now create data applications. I do quite regularly for my job.
Yeah.
The only programming language I know is English.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it really is crazy, the kind of amount of development that we've seen in this space, and even non-technical users being able to actually go in and prompt and build out these products. Yeah, it's remarkable, really, isn't it?
And it's not to say that PhD level data scientists don't have value. They have tons of value because everything gets easier for them too, so their output increases. But talking specifically around retailers and a data strategy there, I've heard a few CDOs call it, or certainly a few CIOs and CDOs call it a leapfrog strategy.
Yeah.
Which is we don't need to go into a large, big data migration, big platform migration, big human capital investment, finding difficult skills in an industry which is not rife with a ton of specialized skills in data. We can leapfrog all of that.
Yeah.
Rather than data transformation program, it's an AI transformation program. And as I said, that doesn't just transform the data team and the technology department, or if you've got a data mesh, even the federated teams. but rather every single employee of the organization. And that's far beyond just unlocking, Copilot for everyone, right? It's how can a CDO, and in my opinion, it should be in partnership with the COO, embed AI genuinely into as many workflows as possible, not to replace human beings, because I think where the focus is, if your average salary in the organization is £50,000, I would always ask what's the productivity output of that. If the average is 50,000 cost, a really healthy output might be £100,000 of value.
Yeah.
How do we turn £100 of value to £200,000 of value, as opposed to saving 50 grand on the bottom line?
Yeah.
And looking at it from that department. So I think that the data strategy is now actually a much bigger strategy that requires almost a larger plan, but it should be more cost effective and much faster to implement.